A 31-year-old man is behind bars after confessing to fatally shooting a 41-year-old man after an argument. At just before 9:30 a.m. on Sunday the 2nd of July, authorities responded to an apartment complex at 2101 West Grand Avenue in Clovis, New Mexico, on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they entered an apartment and found Ruben Morales unresponsive with a gunshot wound to his chest, and his girlfriend 23-year-old Destiny Pahia applying pressure on the wound with a t-shirt. Medics attempted life-saving measures and transported Ruben to Plains Regional Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Police learned that the suspect had fled the scene before they arrived. Destiny told investigators that Ruben and a Hispanic man that she did not know entered her apartment arguing amongst themselves. She told police that the yelling got louder, and the unidentified man pulled out a gun and shot Ruben. Destiny told police that she had only seen the shooter one other time with Ruben. As police searched the scene, they found an identification card inside the t-shirt that was used to apply pressure to Ruben's wound. The ID belonged to Jesse Ruiz, who was on probation with the Clovis Adult Probation Office for a felony aggravated assault. Officers were able to track Jesse's movements through the GPS ankle monitor he was wearing, and located him less than a mile away at 308 North Reed Street. The officers were able to use the GPS to confirm that Jesse had been at the scene of the shooting. During questioning, he told police the shooting was an accident. He said he had a relationship with Destiny and was at her apartment when Ruben stormed in to confront the couple. Jesse told police that Ruben was cussing him out and started to rush him to fight him. He told police that he grabbed a gun from a nightstand and shot Ruben. Jesse said the gun belonged to Destiny and that he left it at the scene before leaving to go to a friend's house to burn the clothes he was wearing during the shooting. Jesse was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, tampering with evidence and possession of a firearm by a felon. He's held at the Curry County Adult Detention Center without bail. The investigation into the matter continues. A 34-year-old man who was suspected of domestic violence fatally shot a police officer in a hospital before being killed by other officers. The incident occurred at just before 1 a.m. on Monday the 3rd of July at Perry County Memorial Hospital in Tell City, Indiana. Police were called to the scene when a female victim was able to make it to the hospital to be treated for her injuries and told hospital staff that her abuser Sean Hubert was on his way. When Sean arrived inside the hospital, 47-year-old Sergeant Heather Glenn tried to subdue the domestic abuse suspect with an electronic device in order to arrest him, but it was ineffective. During a brief struggle, Sean produced a firearm and shot Heather. Police then returned fire and shot Sean. Heather and Sean were both treated at the scene, however they died from their injuries. Heather spent nearly 20 years with the Tell City Police Department and the Perry County Sheriff's Office. The investigation is ongoing and an autopsy has been scheduled. A 37-year-old woman was recently arrested following the death of a toddler who died early this year from injuries sustained while in her care. The investigation, which began on the 26th of April, revealed that the 15-month-old child suffered a fatal head injury at the child's home, located along the 14,200 block of Barolo Way in Beaumont, California. The babysitter, identified as Heather Greenman of Riverside, reported the child had fallen while running and was transported to a local hospital for swelling on the head and bleeding on the brain. The child subsequently died from the injuries at hospital. Authorities were able to identify a second victim, a 2-year-old child who had suffered from serious injuries while in Heather's care, but were not previously reported. The child was also being cared for in the family's home in Beaumont, but was not hospitalized. On Thursday the 29th of June, Heather was taken into custody and booked into the Smith Correctional Facility on suspicion of first-degree murder, willful harm and assault resulting in death. She remains held on a $1 million bond. A man rejected by his former girlfriend bound her with tape and cable ties before burying her alive in an act of revenge. 22-year-old Jaraktot Singh pleaded guilty to the murder of 21-year-old nursing student Jasmine Kaur early this year in February. In sentencing submissions in the South Australian Supreme Court on Wednesday the 5th of July 2023, the court heard that Jaraktot planned the killing because he is unable to get over the breakdown of their relationship. In March of 2021, Jaraktot stalked Jasmine and then abducted her from an aged care workplace in North Plympton, Adelaide. He bound her feet and hands behind her back with a cable tie and tape, and she was put into the back of a car he borrowed from a friend. He then drove over 400 kilometres, or roughly 250 miles, to Morolana Creek in South Australia's Flinders Ranges area. He made superficial cuts to Jasmine's neck, before placing her in a shallow grave and burying her alive with her hands and feet still bound together. The court heard Jasmine had inhaled and swallowed soil. Tarajot initially denied the killing, claiming that he buried her body after she took her own life, but later pleaded guilty to murder before he was due to stand trial early this year. He was caught on CCTV hours before the murder at Bunnings in Mile End buying gloves, cable ties and a shovel. He faces a mandatory life sentence, with the court to impose a non-parole period next month.